Hey, Miss Gideon here. I'm going to start with problems 1 through 5 on the Unit 2 test. So this is very similar to your number 1 question. It says solve x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 9. And then the directions say make sure you write your inequality so that the x comes first. So I'll explain what that means. So remember, on paper you'd write your inequality out. And then you solve it just like it is in an equation. These are your two sides, right? Your left side and your right side. So to get x by itself, I have to minus 3. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. So I've got x. My inequality stays the same, greater than or equal to. And 9 take away 3 is 6. Now, when you're writing this, when you're writing that greater than or equal to sign, you'll have a pop-up when you start typing in there. You'll be able to select that symbol. So don't worry about that. It should pop up when you start typing. So make sure your x is first, the symbol, and then whatever your answer is when you answer it for that question. Remember, these are similar, not the exact questions. So on this next one, we have solve the inequality. X plus 5½ is less than 8. So we're going to minus 5 1/2 from both sides. We don't have to make them improper fractions because we're not multiplying or dividing. So x is greater than, and I'm going to use my decimals calculator for this, 8 minus 5½ So I'm going to do 8 minus 5. Remember, I can use that fraction symbol for 1/2. And then it gives me 2.5. We want them in a fraction format because it gives you in a fraction format. So don't put a decimal in there. So if I have 5/2, going back to my work, this is 5/2. That's what 8 minus 5 1/2 is, 5/2. So I'm going to change that 5/2 into a mixed number. So remember, 5 goes inside your division box, 2 outside. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. So 5 take away 4 is 1. So I take this big number up here, 2, and then 1 is my numerator, and then I keep the same denominator. So the final answer for this question, similar to yours, is x is less than 2 1/2. Again, your fraction bar should be there for your testing item. I'm just going to make sure it is in fraction format. I'm finding it real quick, 1 second. I want to make sure I'm telling you right, because I know 1 says to keep it in fraction. So number 2 on yours, yeah, you want it in fraction form. So make sure you're doing that. When you go to type again, you should have that ability to get that fraction bar. Okay, so the next one you have is number 3. Now this is again similar. Well, actually this is the exact problem that you have, except my sketch is not very neat. But pay attention to the symbol. They're wanting you to figure out which equation. You've got 4 examples here. Which equation is showing you on the graph here? Remember, if it's an open circle like I have here, an open circle, it's got to be a less than or a greater than symbol. So looking at my answer choices, I know that answer choice 2 is a less than or equal to, so I'm not even going to bother doing that one. The same way with the 4th answer choice. It's a less than or equal to. I don't need the equal to, so it's either going to be the first one or the second one here. So you guys, I'm not going to tell you the rest of this, but remember to solve this, you're going to solve each one. You would add 2 1/3 here, add 2 1/3 here, see if that comes out to 4½ or 4.5, and then you would subtract 2 1/2 here. Well, here is a big hint. Subtract 2 1/2 here. 2 1/2 minus 2 1/2 is 0, so there's your big hint. Might be that answer choice right there. All right, and number 4, solve 3x is less than 14. Now this is telling you to write your improper fraction as a mixed number and make sure you write your inequality that x comes first. So doing so, I'm just going to solve my equation, or inequality, excuse me. So remember, I get x by itself. I undo multiply by dividing. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I've got x is less than. This is what you need to make into a mixed number. 14 goes inside your division box. Your denominator 3 is on the outside. And again, this is a different problem than you have, but it's solved the same way. So the numerator is inside your box, denominator is outside. 3 goes into 14 4 times in this case. Subtract those 14, take away 12 is 2. So my answer, I get the 4 as my big number, my remainder of 2 is my numerator, and I keep the same denominator of 3. So that's what my answer would look like. And then for number 5, you're solving, this time you've got decimals. 5.2x is greater than or equal to 41.6. And you're writing your inequality, so x comes first. Well, I know if I've got 5.2x greater than or equal to 41.6, I need to get x by itself. To undo multiply 5.2 times x, you divide by 5.2. What you do to one side, you do to the other. These cancel out, so I've got x, nothing changes to the inequality, greater than or equal to. So in my decimals, I'm going to do 41.6 divided by 5.2. So 41.6 divided by 5.2. I can see my answer is 8 there. So my 8 would go here. So that's what I would type in the answer box. All right, watch your inequality signs. This is 1 through 5. I'll send the next 5 questions in another video. Miss G out.